You can now pick up a refurbished Steam Deck from the Steam store at a discounted price. So if, like me, you're a little late to the party and you want to get your hands on one of the best handheld devices on the planet, then now could be the best opportunity. I managed to pick up a top of the range 512GB version for the same cost as a 256GB version on the UK Steam store. So let's take a look at the unboxing experience and setup to see exactly what condition this Steam Deck arrived in and how I got on playing with it. Valve say that they've tested all of these devices for general performance and battery life, but that they may come with some cosmetic imperfections. Any nerves that I had when I was opening up that box was soon blown away by the fact that Steam had sent a brand new carrying case and power bank to go alongside the refurbished Steam Deck. There are a few scratches that I can find on one of the joysticks, but other than that, the rest of the body seems to be completely fine. And when I turned on the screen, I was delighted to see that there were no issues with the display either. If you are used to console gaming devices, then don't be alarmed if the Steam Deck takes a little bit longer to boot up than something like a Nintendo Switch. That's just the nature of the Steam Deck, which is more like a handheld gaming computer than a full ready-made console. The big positive is that means you can play all kinds of games on this device, from everything in your Steam library to emulated ROMs and even remote play from devices like your PlayStation 5. As a busy parent, that is my main motivation for picking up this device, so I thought I'd go ahead and get a D-brand skin that made it look a little bit more like a PlayStation controller. In the back of my mind, I also wanted to make sure I had a skin that could cover up any big scratches or blemishes on the main body of the console, but I mean, it came in such great shape, that wasn't really an issue in the end. I have to say this is one of the most difficult D-brand skins I've ever put on, and I didn't do a good job of it, but I wanted to show you the honest truth. There is a really great tutorial on the D-brand website that walks you through every single step of this process, but as someone who's not particularly delicate or good with fiddly things, I found it really difficult to apply this in a consistent way. That's not to say I wouldn't recommend getting a D-brand skin, because I still feel like it makes the Steam Deck look a lot more personalized and it feels a lot nicer holding it in your hands. But you do have to make sure that you are willing to accept some imperfections if you're not the neatest person in the world. The thing is though, this is kind of the DIY nature of the Steam Deck, and I don't mind if it's a bit scruffy around the edges. The real fun for me comes in launching the Steam Deck's desktop mode and getting some games onto the system. I don't have the most exhaustive Steam Deck library, it's mainly old Football Manager games and a couple of indie titles here and there, but I did pick up Baldur's Gate 3 as someone who loves a good tactical RPG, and I also picked up Planet of Lana, which is a really beautiful Studio Ghibli inspired stealth side-scroller, which is definitely worth a play. I've been really impressed by how smoothly both of those games run, and I know I'm going to have a brilliant time playing both of them. Now, although I did get the 512GB version, I also made sure to get a 512 Samsung Evo SD card to just bump up that storage a little bit and use as a good home to put all of my ROMs. This is where things potentially get a little bit fiddly if you're not used to messing around with computers, but there are some great third-party Steam applications that can help you get all of your emulators set up on your device. I used an app called EmuDeck and followed the brilliant tutorial by Retro Game Core, which helped me get this set up in about half an hour, and I was able to drag and drop some of my Pokemon ROMs over to the console. Retro Pokemon games are kind of my comfort zone when it comes to gaming. I like the fact that I don't have to pay them too much attention, and for the past couple of years I've been playing them on my Game Boy Advance SP, but the battery life is so poor on that thing these days. Cool thing about the Steam Deck is it will actually give you about 7 or 8 hours of gameplay on a title like that. You're probably looking at closer to 2 hours if you're playing Baldur's Gate, but for Pokemon ROMs, it's really great. The next step was to get PlayStation Remote Play set up, complicated by the fact that Gabriel stormed into the room after his nap, but also that it is a little bit of a tricky process. You have to kind of run this Python script on your Steam console, but there are some great tutorials out there on YouTube that you can watch and walk you through this entire process. Exactly what I did, and the end result is that I can now play PlayStation games in bed on my Steam Deck. Of course, there are many other devices that you can do this on. I've used my iPad in the past, as well as a Backbone 1 controller for my phone, but they never felt like a dedicated console, and so having a Steam Deck to do this feels a lot more natural. It seems to run perfectly well if you're running a lower performance title like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, but just playing a little bit through God of War, I did see a few glitches. So if this is expressly the reason that you're going to pick up a Stream Deck, it might be just worth waiting for that PlayStation Portal to come out later in the year and see how well that performs. All in all though, I have loved playing around with the Steam Deck. Getting to grips with the operating system can be a bit of a challenge, but it's well worth it when you consider the breadth of games you can actually play on the device. I'm really impressed by how pretty games like Planet of Lana look on this display, and Game Boy Advance ROMs really pop on it too. I'm going to do more of a review of the Steam Deck in about a month or so subscribe to the channel if you want to check that out. And for now, you can take a look at my Backbone 1 review, which is already up just here.